All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to No Judgment here with Tish Ross, the podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Tish Ross, and I'm so happy to see you guys, everyone that has joined us this evening. I'm going to probably say this a couple of times. Once right here in the beginning, if you could and you wouldn't mind sharing this podcast out now, that would be wonderful. I, as always, want my guests to be and feel supported and encouraged and loved. So if you can share it out on your platform, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know that they will as well. I mean, because it's hard to get up here and talk about our personal lives. Even though it is our story and our journeys. And I like to use this platform to hopefully have guests that can come on and use it to share their journey, their story from their perspective. We're not speaking for anybody else other than our own perspectives. I'm not a counselor, neither are my guests. We are just regular, everyday people that have gone through some things or will go through some things. And we just want to try to help other people out. So quickly, I am going to say hello to everybody, and then I'm going to welcome my guests in. I'm going to say hello to as many people as I can. Let's see here. There is Josh, Sherman's Family Farm. Welcome in, Josh. There is Mary Ann Bimler. Thank you, Mary Ann, for being here. And let's see here. Yeah, it is hot. I'm glad you're trying to stay cool today. Josh. There is Justin, Backroad Freedom. Hey, Justin, thanks for being here. Say hello to your son for me. Hopefully, he is doing well and getting settled in. And there is Pooch, Full Blown Country. I appreciate my mods being here. I really do. I rely on you guys, and I really, really appreciate you guys keeping an eye on chat and welcoming everyone in. I certainly do appreciate that. And for anybody that's watching and not commenting, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know that I watch lives and I don't always comment either, but I want you to know that I do appreciate you guys being here. There's my friend Leanne Gunther. We are some fall and December buddies. We love Halloween and Thanksgiving and the fall and Christmas and all of that good stuff that's coming soon. Certainly doesn't feel like it though. There is Christine, Mrs. Gillum Farms. Welcome in, Christine. I'm happy to see you here. Cheryl Guest, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. There is Brian with the Vineyard Farmhouse. Thanks, Brian, for coming in. And don't forget to hit that like button. That also helps with the algorithm. Thank you for sharing this out, Justin. I appreciate it. Beth and Neil, Be In Us Odyssey. Thanks for coming in this evening. And I'm going to kind of scroll quickly because I want to get to our guest. There is Paul. Thanks, Paul. PSV Odyssey. Thanks for coming in. Dot Roper. Thanks for being here. I'm happy to see you guys here. There's Piggy Piddle. He is here as well. Thanks for being here. Karen Breast. I appreciate you. There is Two Old People on a Couch. Thanks for being here, guys. And again, I'm scrolling quickly. DJ Turneroo, thanks for being here. I'm happy to see you. Nana, 9 Acres Farm, thanks for being here. There's Coach G. He is popping in from Florida. Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. I appreciate you guys being here. Hi, Lila Newton. She says she's having bad storms, so she may be in and out. Well, you stay safe, Lila. That is first and foremost important. Cora Phelps, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Hello, Sophia Starlin. Thanks for coming in. And okay. Again, Kickapoo Crafty Cat. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Wanda Henry. Thank you for coming in. Kevin, Hiking with Jackie Boy. Thanks for coming in. And okay, I am scrolling super fast. There's Rebecca Touched by Yarn. I appreciate you being here. Again, if you have a platform where you can share this out, I would certainly appreciate it. And I know that my guests will too. Okay. So tonight I am bringing in my guests, Randy and Julie McKissick. They are coming in to chat about their journey through raising kids, adoption, family. We all know that that is quite challenging. And so they are coming on to share a little bit of their story in hopes to help others out. So I'm going to bring them in now. There they are.
Hey,
Julie and
everyone.
Randy, thanks for coming in. They are from Heard That and Heard That Outdoors. Yeah, most definitely. I'm happy to have you in. And like I was sharing with the group and all of our listeners, that we are going to be talking about parenting, adoption, and in hopes to give other people hope, encouragement, and that sometimes I know from people that I know at church that having children, whether it is having your own naturally, it can have challenges, as well as I know a couple that just recently, after years of battling, adopting their daughter, they just were granted adoption. And I can tell you this, that while they were raising this little baby girl, they wore the stress on their faces, on their hearts, on their sleeves. They came to church every week. We had our marriage group, and we had our small group, and it was either one or the other holding each other up. And while we love our children, whether they obviously our children, biological or adopted, sometimes, and I can speak for myself, parenting can be extremely challenging. So I appreciate both of you guys coming on and helping and encouraging and educating us on different things in terms of adopting, as well as your own personal stories. So quickly to my chat, and then I'm going to let Randy and Julie take this over. I am so grateful that you guys are here. I will occasionally kind of glance over and see if I see a question or a comment. I will try to get to them. The majority of the time, I'm not able to, because I really like to stay focused and engaged with my guest. Not that you're not important, because you are very much so, but it is a podcast. And so sometimes I might catch a question or a comment, sometimes I won't, but I am grateful. I know that Randy and Julie are grateful that you guys are here, and we're appreciative. So again, if you have the platform to share this out, I appreciate it. And also, if you have the opportunity to please hit that thumbs up, so that it helps get this story out. So I'm going to turn this over to you guys. I think what I want to first start off with is Randy and Julie, whoever wants to go first. What kind of childhood did you guys have, and did you have siblings, or how did that go for you?
I'll go first. I had a mom and a dad, and they were married for, I want to say, 58 years before my mom passed away. So we lost my mom to kidney cancer 12 years ago. I have a brother that passed away with brain cancer at the age of 48. And then most of y'all know that I have my sister with At Home with Tom and Rhonda. So and a lot of y'all know that we just lost my dad in March. So there's just the two of us left. I was real close to my mom growing up. We did everything together. Me and my brother did everything. We were only 3 years apart. Now, Rhonda left when I was 7. So I really didn't get really, really close to Rhonda. I have a little bit of memories because we shared a bedroom together, but I really didn't really get close to Rhonda till I was 18. And when I moved out, me and Rhonda lived together. So then we got super close. And we've been close ever since that time. So, but Dad was always a hard worker. He worked all the time. So basically it was me and my mom. But when he wasn't working, we had a great childhood. We went camping all the time, skiing. He taught me how to ski, fish, swim, all that good stuff. So yeah, I would have to say I had a good childhood.
I'm sorry about your dad's passing. I'm so sorry. And so your parents, you and your parents, you guys had great communication, pretty open, and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right. How about you, Randy?
Um, Typical family. I was born and raised Catholic, brought up in a Catholic family. Had one brother, two sisters. My parents were married for 60 plus years before we lost my dad back in 2009.
Mm.
Then lost one of my sisters 2 years after that. So still got my mom. She's 94. Uh,
Wow.
and yeah, I had a very close family growing up. My dad, he was, I don't know if I'm using this word correctly, but he was the pinnacle of what a father would be.
Mm.
Hunting, fishing, just taught me everything. All kinds of woodworking, everything I knew up to the point to where I started my own career, I learned from him.
Wow.
He was just the best dad anyone could ever ask for.
Mm.
And that's I guess what I have always strived to be too.
I love that.
Leads us to our story.
Absolutely. And so you guys met, and how long were you guys married before you guys started to discuss having children? So I'm going to let you guys talk about that and just go right on into your story.
I don't even remember discussing family.
When we first got married, I had a daughter through a previous marriage, and she was, I think, 6 or 7 when we got together.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't discuss having children because at that time, she lived with us part time, off and on, and that was at the time that was enough. And I guess later on, a few years later, attempted to have children and wound up losing one through a miscarriage. And then Julie was told by her doctor that it probably wouldn't ever happen for her. So we just kind of, got the idea out of our heads about having one between the two of us. And then I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, we both been married before. I was married for 9 years, and we tried to adopt. Rhonda, my sister, worked in a neonatal department at a hospital in Fort Worth, and she came across this girl that was wanting to give her baby up for adoption. So she knew that I wanted a baby. I wanted 4 or 5 kids all my life. So we were in the process of adopting her, and the social worker met us and said that the mother changed her mind and gave the baby to her brother to raise. So that was a big heartache. That was sad because I finally got to, my dreams. I got to have a baby, and it's hard when you hold the baby, you name the baby, and then you get that baby just taken away from you without any kind of a notice. So that was hard. With me and Randy, I feel like we really didn't talk about it, having babies, because Megan completed something that was taken away from me because she was so little still. And me and Megan had a really close relationship. We got it together. We did things together. When he went hunting, I stayed with Megan and we did girly things. So I didn't even think about having a baby.
Gotcha.
But we did have a miscarriage. So it wasn't really planned. I don't think it just
it was one of those things that just happened. It was a blessing at the time, but then again, it kind of got yanked away from us. And so
let me ask you this. That's already a lot, to kind of go through in terms of, and I'm so sorry for your losses, your miscarriages, because first and foremost, you find out from your doctor that doesn't look like you are going to be able to have children. That is a lot to deal with, and then you, of course, then, or prior to that, you miscarry, and then you want to try to adopt. You're told that there's a young lady that wants to give her baby up for adoption. You guys prepare, you hold the baby, you give the baby a name, and then next thing you know, somebody changes their mind. That's so much already to deal with. And how did you guys deal with that? What was your way to...
With me and my first husband, how we deal with it?
I was not a part of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm glad you were a part of that. I don't know, as a one that always wanted children, and then my brother has 3, my sister has 3, my mom had 3, my cousins, and I'm like the only one that couldn't. And I'm the one, I'm not going to say that I was the one that wanted to have the children the most, but I just wanted something so bad that I couldn't get. So with me and my first husband, when we lost it, honestly, I don't remember how I felt. I remember pulling over because he broke down crying. But after that, our marriage failed anyway. Not because of that, but for other reasons. Gotcha. And I don't remember really having any conversation. It was just a hurt that I think we both dealt with.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so then you meet Randy, and then of course you have your stepdaughter, and while he's hunting, you guys have obviously a great relationship. You go and do girly things. Yes. And then what is the conversation in terms of adopting?
There wasn't one.
Wasn't one. How did that come about?
At the time, I was a truck driver for Coca-Cola and made deliveries to grocery stores. Julie worked for a gourmet bread company, and we would see each other throughout the day. Just saying hello and whatnot. And then we finally got together, I'd say after probably a year of seeing each other out on the route.
No, but tell them what the first thing you said to me.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you do. So remember, he's a Coke guy and I'm a bread girl, and I'm pushing my buns in a buggy. And he comes up to me, he puts his hand on my hamburger buns, and he said, "Do you mind me squeezing your buns?" And that's how it started.
Been married 30 years ever since.
I love that.
Yes, so funny.
Yeah, that was an icebreaker right there. Asked her to a George Strait concert after that, and been together ever since.
Yes, it'll be 30 years in October.
Yep.
My gosh. Wow. Well, congratulations. I love all from squeezing your buns.
So yeah, yes. We were at a point in our marriage where, we, like I said, we didn't really discuss having any more children after the miscarriage. We just kind of, never talked about it again. And then at this time, she was working for a chiropractor, and one of her best friends running her office for her. And you want to tell this part of it?
I mean, me and my best friend, Sharice, we started it from the ground up, had a blast working together. We had a co-ed baseball team that we did together. It was just a great place to work. And something, I don't know, well, I know what it was. It was God. Just came over me and said, "I think you need to go work in the emergency room at nights, making less money." That's what God told me.
And it's funny like that, huh?
Yeah, he works in mysterious ways.
And I'm like, what? No, I didn't question him, but Randy questioned me, like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just want to go work for the emergency room. I guess it was interesting. I guess hearing the stories that Rhonda did and stuff, maybe that intrigued me. I don't know, but I did it. And I was working in the admitting office, so I was the one that you would see, getting all the information and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, maybe a month or so, 2 months down the road, this little blonde-headed, beautiful, I want green eyes,
young lady.
comes and sits down, and she's pregnant, and she had a couple friends with her, and then she had the birth dad with her. Birth dad, is that what you said? That was with her, and they wasn't married, but he was just saying, well, I'm not going to marry you. And I was listening to all of this. She just came from the Edney Gladney home, and this lady was like stalking her. So she didn't feel comfortable there. So she went to her parents' house, which was her dad, which basically was her adopted dad too, that took her in because her mom left her when she was 2. So this guy raised her, which I guess became her dad, that she loved and honored him. But anyway, they kicked her out and didn't have anything to do with her. And myself, I felt sorry for her, asked her more questions. I told her maybe I could get some churches or neighbors to help her. And she really loved that offer, and she wanted to take me up on that. But we sent her home because it was false labor pains. We sent her home. So I thought that was basically the end of it. So 2 days later, I get a phone call, and it was at work. And she asked me if I remembered who she was. And I said, yeah, of course. And I thought she was calling to get some clothes or money or something like that I offered her. But she said, would you want to adopt my baby? And that right there just, I don't know, it just warmed my heart. And of course, I said yes right off the bat. Yes, I would love to adopt the baby. At that time, I didn't even know if it was a boy or a girl. I don't know. At that time, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was, a boy or a girl.
And didn't care.
No. And I went to Randy and told him what happened. And he was like, Julie, Megan is 12. Because this was 5 years after me and Randy was married. So Megan has grown up now. So, he was telling me everything, how hard it would be to have a baby, the sleepless nights, not being able to just come and go as we have been for the last 5 years. Is that?
That's basically right. Yeah.
So
how much we would be, not that I was trying to talk her out of it. I was just trying to make her face the reality of a newborn.
Right.
Yeah. With a preteen, which,
right. That's a tough combo.
Is enough of a challenge.
Right.
Yeah. Bringing a newborn into the picture, it changes everything.
And a preteen with all their emotions. And
yes.
Yeah. And she was still working nights in the emergency room. So basically it was going to be me and the kids at home. But we hired a lawyer and drew up the paperwork, and pretty much
$1,500 for the attorney. And 2 weeks later, here comes Tristan.
Okay.
So we had 2 weeks to prepare.
Didn't even have a nursery or anything at the time. So it was we were in rush mode.
Yeah. So and then the birth mom and the birth dad, I had an open adoption. And I guess,
can you explain the difference between open and closed adoptions?
To the best of our knowledge. Yeah.
I'll try. An open adoption is basically you open yourself up, your home up to the biological parents, so that they can still have contact and access to the child.
Okay.
Now, the judge at the time of the hearing recommended that we do a closed adoption because that's safer for everybody involved. It basically means that we would be have no contact with the biological parents until that said child was ready to, discover them on his own.
Got it.
So I don't know, at the time, to us, the kind of people that we are and always have been, we didn't see a need for that, because this young lady was gracious enough to basically just give us her baby. We thought, we're going to let this young lady be a part of his life, and
Sure.
The biological father too, if he wanted to. And so we did just that. We opened our home up to them and let them come and visit on a scheduled basis.
Yeah, and I don't know if things have changed the rules, but when you adopt, you have to have a home study.
Yeah.
You have to have a thorough background, and you have to meet all this criteria and stuff. And you really don't. You can bring the baby home, but the baby is not really yours until 6 months afterwards. Right. I don't know if those rules have changed.
You got a warranty period there. So,
so that's stressful enough, knowing that you have this baby. You're so attached to this baby. You love this baby with every ounce being you had inside of you. And
knowing
you
that
might
come back
not get to take this baby until you meet the judge. But with these events that has happened, the judge just wiped that out, and we got to adopt Tristan 4 months later. So
they skipped the waiting period. So we 2 months in, he was ours.
Yeah, because the birth dad got to see, and they broke up. The birth mom and the birth dad, they were broken up when she was
when she had the baby.
Yeah. There was another guy there with Tristan when Tristan was born, but the birth dad got to see Tristan every Monday, the first Monday of every month, and Dana got to see Presley, I'm my grandbaby, Tristan every Tuesday of every month. I don't remember, but Jay was, I can't say that. The birth dad was really good at coming to seeing Tristan like he's supposed to. No trouble, no nothing like that. But the birth mom was like a show and tell. It was a new thing for her. She wanted to show him off.
She would bring friends over to see him, and it became a circus at one point. We had to.
I'm sorry. I want to interrupt quickly just to pay you guys this compliment and saying that I know the kind of people that you are, and so beautiful, good-hearted, loving, giving people, and wanting the child that this young lady has just so graciously, blessed you guys with, that of course, I'm right there with you. Of course, in your mind, you're thinking, my goodness, why would I not want to, they are being so kind. Why would I not want my child, even though they're adopted, they're your child, to not have a contact with.
You never think that could turn, that could go south on you, but it can, and it did.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, interrupting. You said that she brought a friend over and she was kind of a show thing.
Yeah. And so we were eating dinner one night, and she called, and she's like, she wanted to come over with some friends. And I'm like, you can't, let's reschedule because he's fixing to go down for a nap. He was only like 3 months old. So he was on a schedule.
Yeah.
So she cussed me out, and Randy got the phone and said, you're not going to talk to Julie that way. You can do it like this, this, and this. You have scheduled times. That's all we can do. So from then on, there was no more her. She just stopped.
She threatened to get a lawyer, and we said, by all means, if we're going to do this, let's do it the legal way.
Yeah.
And then we didn't hear from her for probably a couple of years.
And then, because we started getting our house burglarized. Yeah. Well, they didn't steal anything, but they would come in and they would spray paint. They just took a can of spray paint and whatever, like if there was a closet open or a door or dishes or collectibles or whatever, they just spray painted the whole house. But they didn't spray paint Tristan's nursery. And they did this 2 times and attempted 3 times. The third time they did it outside.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They didn't get in, I guess. I don't.
Oh, we were in Mesquite, and we had that deck upstairs, and they came from the upstairs. We had cameras at the time, and they came up. Of course, they had hoodies on and everything, so we couldn't tell who it was. But as soon as they saw the camera, they turned and left. So that was the only thing that saved us on the third time.
So this
now, was this prior to the abduction or after?
Yeah, prior to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that hadn't happened yet. So we moved to Elmo because we didn't want them to know where we were anymore, because I felt like it was her or him, more her than him, because she's the one that got upset. And the birthday kept seeing Tristan until we moved. So I would say it was mostly her, but I can't prove it.
Gotcha.
We couldn't prove it. They brought her in for questioning and all that, but still couldn't prove it.
Nothing ever happened from it. As a matter of fact, they accused Julie at one point of doing it herself. No
way.
Yeah. They turned it on us. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was quite a bit to go through.
That is a lot to go through. My gosh.
Yeah, so we moved way out into the country.
Yeah.
And
then Tristan was a year and a half, maybe.
We stayed out there till he was 4. So
yeah, and we were going to work. I was taking Tristan to daycare. I don't even remember what car. A white car.
Taurus.
Yeah, it's Taurus.
I remember it.
I ran over a branch that I was dragging, and I pulled over, and out of nowhere, this guy held a gun and told me to get in the back seat. And Tristan was in his car seat, and of course I got in the back seat. He tied my hands with the I don't know how to describe it. The like boots, the lace of boots that are sort of like square, like I don't know. But anyway, he tied me there with Tristan. Tristan for 9 hours didn't have a diaper change, no food, nothing like that. We came to this place that was, I thought it was close to Austin. Temple.
It was close to Waco.
Yeah, Waco and stuff like that.
Temple was where it was. That's right, not Waco.
But we pulled over and we climbed this little wooded rock area, set me by a tree, took Tristan away from me. So I didn't see Tristan or them for 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing? What are you thinking? I mean, are you talking to them? Are you are you crying, screaming? Like what's going on? If you can remember, what's going through your mind?
You're going to have to help me here.
It's okay. Take a minute.
To the best of my knowledge, what I recall from it was that they sat her down by a tree, still hands bound, took Tristan off, came back. Now, mind you, this is taking place all in the course of a day, an entire day. Usually, when I'm at work at that time, I would be in contact with her 2 or 3 times during the day. Just call her, say, hey, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. On the average, 2 to 3 times a day. I called first thing, couldn't get a hold of her. Didn't think a lot about it, but then at lunchtime, I started to worry. Called her boss. She was working for an insurance company. Called him, talked to him. He said, no, she hadn't been in all day. Called the daycare center. They said no, that she hadn't dropped Tristan off. So now I'm in full blown panic mode. I'm calling the sheriff's department, police department, anybody I could think of to call. Called my parents, called her parents, called just everybody, her sister, Rhonda. And, of course, the police came out, took a statement and everything. And just by this time, it was probably 5 o'clock in the evening. Family was at the house. We were all just, of course, thinking the worst.
Right.
And I'm beside myself. I'm in tears. I'm enraged. I'm just.
Well, I guess I was just scared that I wasn't ever going to see my baby again, or my husband, or
Gosh.
my brother.
I mean,
my
I
sister.
can't even imagine what is going through both of your minds. I mean, first and foremost, Julie, you being them, they, he, who taking the baby, taking Tristan, and for 45 minutes, I can't even, I mean, the first minute that they're gone, it's I'm sure the worst
Y'all
things
have to
are going
remember
through your mind.
how I see it. I guess I see it in a different way. When I said God put me from the best job I've ever had to emergency room, was probably the worst job I ever had. And took Tristan away from me for 45 minutes. They didn't do it out of meanness. When you think about it, they did it because my hands were tied. They were looking out for Tristan because all they wanted was a ride. They needed a ride to where they dropped us off. They got in another car or a little truck and left. So there was one guy that was super nice. The other guy, I'm going to say he was mean. I didn't get raped. I didn't get beat. I didn't get any of that. I just wanted to call my husband, and they wouldn't let me do that. And I begged and begged to let me call them. And they wouldn't. At one time, they threw my phone out the car window. So when they took Tristan, yeah, I was scared to death. I thought they did something to Tristan, and they're coming back to do something to me. And that was going to be it. But they took Tristan, like I said, because I was tied up, and they were looking out for him because they brought Tristan back to me and untied me and told me to wait there for 30 minutes before I left. And I did. And I drove. I was lost. I didn't know where I was, didn't have my phone. I think I passed up one hospital, and I drove to Temple.
Yeah, Temple.
Mother-daughter's hospital.
No, King's Daughter's Hospital in Temple, because that was where I got the phone call when now I'm still at home with family, and at that time, we had just gotten caller ID, and when King's Daughter's Hospital came up on the caller ID, I lost it.
I can imagine. I can imagine that you would, Randy. I can imagine.
Don't know what goes through your head until you're faced with a situation like that. And of course, I feared the worst, and I answered. And first thing I heard was Julie's voice.
And they had, I had them check Tristan out because I knew I was okay. But since he was gone from me, I didn't know if they did anything to him or gave him anything or anything like that. So he checked out great. He was fine. Hungry and dirty, but other than that, he was fine. And yeah, my mom and my dad and Randy and my aunt. Was Megan there?
No.
They came and got us.
Yeah, as soon as I heard her voice and she told me where she was, I made sure she was okay. Tristan was okay, and then we jumped in the truck and flew. It was about a 3-hour trip, and we never let up off the gas. And keep in mind, this is the first time that we've relived this in 22 years. So
honestly, we
I
haven't
understand.
talked about it, Tish.
we haven't.
Wow.
So
It's one of those things that you block from your memory and don't ever bring it up again. There's no point to unless it will help somebody, and I hope to God it does.
I hope so too, and I know that you will. And I admire, first and foremost. I hope I can say this without crying. Oh my goodness, that. And I'm going to say that you never know what you're going to say. It doesn't matter what the topic is of the podcast or the conversation, but you never know one thing that you might say that is going to help somebody else. It could be adoption, it could be parenting, it could be marriage. And what I'm going to say is that, oh my gosh, what a great union that the Lord brought together with you both, because you can feel, if you can't feel the love, people, that these two beautiful people have for one another. I mean, it's just so amazing. And I am so sorry that you had to go through that.
Thank you.
And I am just, thank you so much for sharing that. And I see how strong that your faith is as well. I think without faith, you're obviously lost and you have nothing. So again, if you are tuned in and you have the opportunity to share this on your platform, I know that this story, I know already has helped me, because you never know what a marriage is going, what's going to be thrown at a marriage. And it is, none of us are immune to anything. And you guys are such a great, great example of Christ's love in a marriage. I can say that for sure. So please share this out. If you can, share this out on your platform so that other people will be able to gain some hope and some understanding from Randy and Julie's story. So you get past this horrific, very scary ordeal. And did they catch whoever did this, or what happened after that?
Matter of fact, I got in some trouble with the sheriff's department because all I cared about at that time was getting them home, making sure they're safe, and just forgetting this experience ever happened. I wanted everybody to have a happy and healthy and normal life. So we tried our best, and we did well at getting back to that. But
okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit of trouble from the sheriff's department for not calling them and telling them that we found them. So, okay, my bad. Sorry, I was more concerned about something else at the time.
Of course.
But anyway, so yeah, we
but
got
no, they
past
never
that.
found them.
No, they never.
We wanted the Rangers to get involved, but they couldn't involve the Rangers because it had to cross seven counties,
7 county lines,
and there wasn't 7 counties lines crossed. So
I think it was 4.
So no, they still haven't.
Well, the good thing is, thank God that you and Tristan were not injured any more than you were, or assaulted or anything like that. Thank God. And so, as we move back to you guys being parents and raising Tristan, so that ordeal thankfully ends with the both of you, all of you together again. And then what happens?
I want to say this. Tristan says I'm protective. I'm overly protective. I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. I completely understand that. Yes.
I'm like
yes.
way overprotective.
And I don't think kids understand that until they're parents, until they become parents.
She coined the phrase helicopter mom. So.
Sure. Tristan. Okay, so now we have a wonderful life. We live in a log house. We have everything we ever wanted. Tristan loves it. Little country boy. He gets to fish. He gets to ride 4-wheelers. Everything's great. Then Randy's dad got sick. So we moved. we were getting phone calls like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning that Randy needs to go help his dad. He's fallen or something. So we decided to move back to the city in Forney to help his mom.
Closer to them.
Yeah.
So that we could be there, in no time. Because where we were at the time, we were still 45 minutes away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
and Tristan was about, I guess, 8. Everything's still great. And then when he was 10, he started, because I always told him he was adopted.
Hold on. Back up just a little bit. Tristan was 6, and my dad had been going through some stuff, and that's when he passed away. So Tristan got to know him a little bit, as much as you can at 6 years old. But still to this day, he talks about him. He's 25 now. So yeah. So, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, when Tristan was 10, he started asking, because we always told him he was adopted, and we always watched that movie Little Bear. Little Bear's
yes.
like adopted and stuff like that. So he always knew the word adoption. He never really asked any questions until he was about 10, and then he started asking questions. Wonder what they look like. I wonder if I have any brothers or sisters. Just stuff like that. So I called some adoption agencies, some orphanage, and asked therapists and asked them, how do I handle this? Because I didn't know how to handle that question.
This is one of those things that not many people get faced with,
And if you're an
have no clue what to do.
And if you're an adopted parent, you're going to come across that question. And so they said it could turn out really, really good, and y'all could have play dates. Everything would be just perfect. Or it could turn out really, really bad. I went with the first one. I wanted it to turn out really, really good. I wanted play dates, and
we didn't want
just one big family.
We didn't want to ever deny Tristan the opportunity.
Sure.
To meet the people that brought him into this world. I mean, I think every person has that right.
You're right.
So
that's when MySpace was really, really popular. And I looked up Dana, the birth mom. I said I wasn't going to say any names.
You can say first name.
I looked her up and I found her. And after Tristan, she had another little boy 2 years later by another guy. And then she had another little girl 2 years after that one by another guy. And then she got back with Tristan's birth dad, and they had another child. So Tristan had
a half brother, a half sister, and a full-blooded sister.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And I got in touch with her, and she was thrilled. She was happy. I said, maybe I could stop by and show you some pictures of Tristan and stuff like that. So I went on my own, went into their little house in Garland, and JC was a little baby. The natural sister, full-blooded sister, however you want to say it.
Sure.
And then I thought everything was great. I thought a young couple, Tristan can meet his brothers and sisters and get to know them. I wanted those lovely little play dates.
Sure.
I didn't know if I was really ready for all of that, but I don't know how much longer. But I went to pick up Tristan out of elementary school, and I was waiting where all the parents wait. And I looked over, and there was Dana. And I'm like, oh, why is she here? Is she wanting to meet Tristan? Or I had no clue. And we caught eye, and we're like, hey. And she said, does Tristan go here? And I'm like, yeah. And she said, my kids go here too. Wow. And I'm like, well, I think you're fixing to meet Tristan. So Tristan comes out, and her kids come out, and they had a blast. They rode down the hill together. It was mind-blowing. It was great. It was wonderful to see him interacting with his brothers and sisters.
You can't make that stuff up. I mean, that was, I think that was a God thing right there. You know?
So there's 3 God things in this story. But it was Halloween. Tristan's birthday is on the 24th. No, 23rd. No, 24th. Sorry. I get that mixed up. We got married on the 23rd. Tristan on the 24th. Okay. So we had a Halloween party for him. They came to that. We went trick-or-treating that I invited them to. They came to that. And then I was big into high school. I was a cheerleader. I ran track. So a part of my life was my friends and stuff. When it was Christmas time, I wanted to have like a reunion with my high school classmates. His half brother got to come over to our house and spend the night, but I wasn't allowing Tristan to go over there yet. I wasn't letting him go. Mm-hmm. This one night, he asked me if he could go spend the night with Brendan. And I said, yes, you can go. So we took him over there and everything. And then about 1:00 in the morning, we get a phone call. And it's the police, and they're saying that we need to come pick up the boys because Dana is getting arrested for shoplifting. So I was like,
oh my gosh.
Okay. So we pick up the boys and stuff, and we tell Tristan, you can't do it anymore. Brendan can come over here, but you just you can't go over there anymore because I can't trust. And started to find out that they still are doing drugs and they're not really changing. I know that the birth dad was in prison 2 times. I think one time was drugs and endangerment of a child because he was driving. They were in a fight or something, and the baby were in. I don't know that whole story, so I can't go into that. I know Dana got in trouble for drugs, and she was in prison. I guess when Tristan was 12 or 13, Dana got with another guy. Seemed like she got her life together. They lived out in the country. They had a beautiful house, had a pool, they had acreage, and they were getting to shoot targets, and it just seemed like a little family. That Dana got her act together. Jay was out of the picture, and I thought it was doing great. Made another decision.
Again, you want to give people, second chances. Everybody screws up. So you can't look at it like, well, you're nothing but a screw up, especially her being his biological mother. We didn't want to deny that, we wanted to give them every opportunity to have a relationship.
Absolutely. And you do it. And because of the type of people that you are, again, really good people, is that you do it for both. You do it both for, your son and for his relationship with his biological parents, and for them. So, yes, I mean, you are making decisions that you feel, out of love and obviously forgiveness. And because you want this to work, you want this to be a good, a nice connection. You want everyone to be good and to work together and for it to be a happy family.
Yeah, a good, positive, relationship.
Right.
It's hard. So many chances.
Yeah, it's hard on me because I feel like I made all these decisions for my child so he could be happy, but they turned out to be wrong choices. Because at the end, Dana had all of the kids taken away from her. One had to go to Florida. One ended up with Jay. The other one went to his grandmother's to live. So they were all taken away anyway, and Dana had to go to prison. So
but it's what though, Julie, I believe, this is what I believe as a mom myself. I believe that they were not the wrong choices. You made all the right choices out of love and good intentions and good hope. It's unfortunate that, other people's decisions, when they are not good decisions, affect the outcome. So, I mean, anybody that, this is going to be like a horrible example, but you have a family and you have a person that's an alcoholic. And so, them choosing to be an alcoholic doesn't just affect them. I can speak that from experience with my dad, well, I'm the one, that's the alcoholic, but no, you're affecting the whole family. And so, it didn't matter what kind of good choices that we made as children, what we tried to do that was good. If he made the choice to do wrong or to drink or be drunk, didn't matter. It affected the whole family. And so I believe with your mother and father heart that you made the right choices out of love and out of forgiveness and hope for the biological parents. And it's unfortunate that because of their decisions, it didn't turn out the way that you want it to be. I wouldn't even say wrong. It didn't turn out well.
Yeah, because I always invited them to do things. Tristan was a great athlete, one of the best athletes he can do. If y'all follow me on Facebook, Tristan does a lot of our woodwork stuff. He's so talented.
Yeah.
And he had so much hope for his future. And I guess I look like maybe I made the bad choice because he had to go through all that and see all that. And if I would have protected him a little bit more, I wouldn't have let him know them until he was 18 and let him make those choices.
Right.
Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they were bad choices. What I made for him because he wasn't old enough, and Dana ended up taking her life. And that's something, again, that Tristan had to
struggle with.
And I don't like the birth dad at all. He has threatened me. I just feel like he didn't do a lot of stuff that he had chances to do. And I struggle with that. I don't know if I'm making the right choices because Tristan does have a relationship with the birth dad now. And that's okay. I've come to terms with that. I just can't watch, like at a birthday party or whatever, have him mingle with our child that we have done so much for, that you wasn't a part of, that you've had chance after chance after chance. And now all of a sudden you want to be this super dad. And I have a hard time with that. And I need to learn to let that go. And my son wants me to let that go. But that's hard. I don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I think that, and I'll speak from my personal experiences with my children and their dad abandoning us, leaving us, is that my choices that I made for my children, I made in love and with the best intentions and the best hope for a good outcome and faith in God. But I see God's hand in everything that you guys have been through. And I know that he will continue to be there with you guys now and throughout the remainder of your lives. And, when we make those choices, it's and I know that you say you feel bad because you or that you should have protected, or you feel like if you wouldn't have made those choices, that those things wouldn't have happened. But how can you know? How can you know? Then would you live with guilt because you didn't? Would Tristan resent you? Or a child that's adopted, would they resent you from in your mind protecting? But what's in a child's mind? What goes through a child's mind? Is mom keeping me from meeting my birth mom? We don't know. When you're making a decision out of love and those unfortunate things happen, then we as loving parents can only do what we continue to do, and that is to love and to if questions are asked, to give explanations. And I think sometimes if we, Julie, if you said no, we're not going to do that. I mean, would you? You don't know what the outcome would have been. Would you have lived in guilt? Would there have been resentment? Would that be something harder to live with or to deal with? I mean, how do you know? People good parents make decisions out of love.
Right. And I don't feel like I don't regret any of the decisions we've made as far as our time raising Tristan. If we could go back and change anything, I really don't think we would, because like you said, we did everything for him out of love, and hoping that we made the right decisions as far as he was concerned. Now, one thing, and I'll get into this a little bit, is that when he was...
She's an hour in.
Oh.
No, that's okay. We're going to keep going. No, we're going to keep going.
Okay. During his high school years, he got involved with a lot of the wrong people and did get into the drugs, and we had a pretty tough time with that. He had, through the course of everything, would put him in rehab 2 times, and hoped for the best on that. Depleted all of our money, all of our savings, everything, just going through that. And it even reached one point to where he was living in an apartment with another guy, and we found out that they were experimenting with some things, and I kind of took it upon myself. I looked up some local funeral homes and local churches and made a list, and showed up over at his apartment one day unannounced and gave him that list. And I said, these are the decisions that I want you to make: where you want to be buried, what church you want to, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. Because I said, as your dad, I can't make these decisions. It's not in my heart to bury my children, and that is where you're headed. And I want to feel like I made an impact on him when I did that. And I think it did. Things changed there for a while, but then, as a teenager growing up, he fell right back in the same, or the wrong crowd. And,
but that's where God stepped in again.
Yeah, exactly.
And gave Tristan Presley, and he came to us and he manned up and said he needed help, and we got him the help, and he's great. Yeah, he's a hard worker. He's a loving dad. He's a strong man. He's a loving son. He would do anything for us.
And he's made it clear to both of us that even though we are his adopted parents, we are his mom and dad. That nobody could take that away from us.
That's right.
So if you want to adopt, I would say closed adoption. That's I don't know if until he's 18.
I don't know if there's really a right answer or a wrong answer with that. It's
right.
It's what's in your heart.
Right. So. I think that you guys are amazing parents. I think that, I'm so grateful that you came on and shared your story. I mean, and I know that parents, even children who, are raised in amazing families, which of course Tristan was raised in an amazing family. Yes, there were some bumps in the road, unfortunately, because of other people's decisions. But there are also children that live in loving homes that make choices, whether it's to do drugs or to drink alcohol or whatever it is. And we go through those things. Sometimes unexpectedly, we think, man, where did I go wrong? But people are teenagers or adults, and they make their choices to take that hit or to do those drugs first or to take that first drink. And then, but he has such an amazing parents in you that obviously he's turned out to be a very loving father, a very hard worker.
He's an amazing dad.
Amazing dad. And so, I mean, gosh, like you said, Randy, you don't really know what to advise. I think that is such great education and, for lack of a better word, quote unquote, warning or a heads up as to maybe what possibly could happen, but you never know until you are in that individual situation with as adopting parents. You don't know. And you guys made, to me, it sounds like all the right decisions that, I think that's all that you can do as a parent. A good, loving parent is make decisions, loving decisions that we think are good.
Well, I don't want to paint adoption in a bad light, because it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. If there's no if about it. It's an amazing part of your life. It's been an amazing part of our lives. I mean, like I said, I would, if we had the chance to go back and change anything, I wouldn't change a thing.
No, and if
because
me and Randy could have
who we are,
a baby right now, I couldn't love that baby any more than I do Tristan, because Tristan is mine no matter what. God put him in my arms and gave him to me to raise.
What he probably doesn't realize yet, and I'm sure he will one day, is that everything he's gone through, all the heartache he's gone through, we've been through it tenfold when it comes to him. I mean, we feel the things he feels. And he's our whole life. His daughter is our whole life. I guess as parents, you dedicate your lives to your children. You put things that you want to do on hold so that they can thrive and flourish and just be good people. And I feel like a little bit that we've done that. I feel like he's a good person.
Because of you guys. Y'all are so amazing. Oh my gosh, y'all. And all these comments that are coming through with such great support. And I know for a fact that there was, absolutely no negativity or suggestions of not adopting at all in you sharing your journey. In fact, it was just so beautiful that the way that, like you said, Julie, how God intervened, took you out of one job, said, let's go over here. You're going to work in the ER department. And we always say for whatever reason, but that's for God's reason. He's like, I got you. I need you to parent this newborn child that's coming into the world. I need you and Randy to take care of this gift that I'm about to give you. But in order to do that, you're going to take a lesser paying job. You're going to go to the ER and work nights. And that's how, God is just so amazing. He's so good in that he selected the perfect parents for Tristan in you and Randy.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Just like unanswered prayers. I mean,
yes.
With my first baby, I wanted Taylor so bad, but that marriage didn't work out. And so Taylor wasn't meant to be mine. Tristan was. So, yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. Your relationship is good with Tristan now, and which is so amazing. I love this so much. But who would you say as individuals first, and then as a couple? And then if you don't mind, I'm going to go back and read just a couple of these love comments to you, because you guys have a lot of people in here supporting and loving on you. Who would you say that Randy McKissick is today? Who are you today, Randy?
I'm Pops.
I'm Lolly.
I am a blessed grandfather of 3 beautiful grandchildren, 2 from my daughter and 1 from Tristan. And that's what I focus my life on right now is my grandkids. And I wouldn't have it any other way. that's what I live my life for.
Well, you're a great pops. You're a great pops.
Well, thank you.
And Julie, who would you say that you are today? Who is Julie McKissick today? Who are you really?
Golly, we share so much. Foremost, it's going to be Tristan and Presley and Randy. I mean, that's my life. That's who I build my life around, is them three.
She's Lolly,
my immediate family. I mean, I love them. I love my sister. We've had a lot of heartaches and stuff. It's made us stronger as a family. Presley is my world just like everybody else, but I do more with Presley. And I'm not saying the other two grandchildren are not. I just don't see them.
Yeah, we don't get the opportunity to be with them as much as we do Presley.
We see Presley all the time as we do Tristan. Tristan will call us every day, and he does our work for us and all that. I would be totally lost without Tristan.
So you're a great Lolly, a great mom, and a wonderful, beautiful wife for sure.
No, Tish.
I see that. No, I can see it. I see it in both of you guys. So
100%.
Lila Newton says to please tell you both that she loves you both so much.
We love Lila.
We love you, Lila.
And she says, at the end of the day, Julie and Randy, Tristan is an amazing man, and you made him that way. Yeah. Oak says, Carrie with Oak Outdoors Adventures with Carrie. She says, I made the choice as an adult to try and have a relationship with my biological family, and it was great at first and then turned sour. It's wonderful that Tristan has had you both by his side through all of this.
Carrie, I know that it has to hurt. And Tish, maybe you can do a show on adoption from the kids' side,
I would love to do that.
Carrie in here, and see
absolutely,
because you don't get to see that. I guess you see it from the parents' eyes, but it would be nice to see it through a kid's eyes. How they
that's a great
really open up.
Absolutely. That is a great idea, Julie. And if I can, certainly if I can get some kiddos that have been adopted to come on and gain their perspective, because that, I actually had a husband and wife team that came on and were very candid, just like the two of you, very open and about their opinions and their love for one another, and they respect one another. But one was extremely angry at God, and it wasn't the one with cancer, it was the other. And the one with cancer was more, if this is the battle that the Lord has laid in my life, and this is what I'm going to have to battle with. And it was really cool to see and know that each other had just these very candid, raw, transparent feelings. And I would love to bring a child or an adult or anyone that has been adopted on to gain their perspective. That would be amazing.
I think I read Carrie said that she's open to that.
Yeah,
awesome
story.
I think Tristan would be open to it,
and too. Tristan would too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would just love to have them come on.
It seems like in the 25 years that Tristan has been in our lives that we went through some rough times at first, but from this point on, they seem to get better every day. We've got a great relationship with him. He knows that he can count on us.
And we always had a great relationship with Tristan. There's never been a time where we've been.
But as he's getting to be an adult, he understands, more the struggles with small children and children in general. He's seeing it now through our eyes. Presley is his biological daughter, and he told me one time that he can't imagine
it's okay.
I'm gonna do this. The love that we have in our hearts for him. even though he is not blood related. He admires that.
He feels it. He knows it.
Yes. Yeah. He knows it. There's no question.
Well, I love that. And I love the fact that I got to really get to know you guys even better. But I have to say that not having have had this conversation with you prior to tonight, I'm as God is my only witness, when around the two of you, you feel nothing but goodness and love from the two of you, acceptance, welcomed. And so I can only imagine how Tristan has felt his whole life since you have been his parents. So beautiful people, beautiful story. And I appreciate you both so much for coming on and opening up. I know that was hard, but I believe, and I can see in the comments already that there are people, parents that are commenting that, someone's son has been brainwashed all his life. And I tell him his life will get better, just to hang on and everything will work out. That you've already opened up people's brains and made them stop and think and lead them in the right direction. I feel that, I know that, and I appreciate you both so very much for coming on and sharing.
For having us.
And thanks everyone.
It's been a journey, and we're more than happy to share it with everybody.
Thank you guys so much. I love both of y'all, and I can't wait to see you guys again in the next reunion, or maybe even sooner. So thank you for sharing, and everybody that is in, thank you guys all so much for coming on and sharing all your love. And again, please continue to share their story out. I know that they are making a difference, because it was very hard to come on and to be so open and transparent. And I love the parents that you guys are to Tristan, and have been his whole life, and will continue to be until your last breath. So thank you both so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you guys next week.
We love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.